We're at the Quail Lodge. This event is going to be sensational tomorrow. The Porsche Race Car Classic at Carmel Valleys Quail Lodge. We are here on Saturday before the big event opens on Sunday. Tomorrow this field will be loaded with outstanding examples of Porsche history. Porsche history that you've never seen before. This gives us a little opportunity to be intimate with these cars. This is the 550 prototype. This one was in the Mexican road race, the very famous Fletcher Aviation 550. Here is another car that was in the Mexican road race, only a coupe version. Back to our Spiders here, in the Mexican road race. This is the rear view of the coupe. It's quite unique. Deserving. A 550A Spider. Porsche's efforts in Formula One, 1962, around that time. I am right, 1962. And shortly we'll show you the earlier version. These Grand Prix cars are so delicate. This one is from the Porsche Museum. Very functional. Air-cooled. This is a 1960 Formula One. This is the one that Dan Gurney drove. And I remember him saying the gas tanks were on either side of the pilot's seat. Now that's 1961. 718 is the 8-cylinder one. As you can see, the rear back of the front door is a lot longer than the other Spiders. 1958 RSK Spider. They're also featuring cars that had Porsche engines in them. That's an Elva, but here is an Abarth Porsche, and they built, I forgot how many they made for Porsche, but every body had slight differences. And here's another Abarth Porsche, and you know, the wheel wells are, for instance, a little squared off on the tops. The other one were rounded, subtle differences. 1952 Hauer Glasser bodied. 1949 Gmund coupe. Yeah, the Gmund period. Curved side glass up by the windshield, lower coverings over the wheels. And the 904, and I believe this one was over the races. They're getting it ready for tomorrow's concourse. This 904 shows the 4-cylinder engine. They probably came over Lorales grade. There's one of the poopers. And here's the platypus. Now it looks to me like we're going to have some barn finds here, or at least all original. It's a Carrera too. Oof. Getting to be the age-old problem. What do you do with it? Do you keep it the way it is, or do you restore it? Here's a close-up of that Carrera engine. Unbelievable.
I don't think that's ever been out.
Is this a coincidence, or is this not? This is another Carrera that looks a little dingy. It's pretty amazing. Within minutes, two cars, similar cars, show up in similar condition. It doesn't have the Carrera engine, but it has a 911 engine in it. Oh, look at this convertible with brudge wheels. Luscious, luscious. Oh, the word cream puff is very appropriate. Just gorgeous. Again, this car just came over from the races. I saw it and just not too long ago. It has quite a racing history, and along with the Mexican road race. Back a foot and a half. It's very versatile, isn't it? Here an engine idle down like that, and yet it's been in race after race. Here's a new arrival, and look at the Speedster with it. God, it's just great looking. You know, that's a Speedster, but that windshield really makes it look like a Speedster. Fantastic. And here's another Speedster. You had that stock Speedster a minute ago. Well, this one's slightly modified. In the late afternoon, the sun has come out very bright, but you'll be able to see a lot of the very historic cars that are here, including the Grand Prix cars. Here's a Spider. Now coming out of the Quail Lodge entrance here is another nice little speedster. It's a Carrera.
Bob Ingram. Bob Ingram on the glass.
And here's that early racing Porsche come before the 550.
Okay, hold up. Okay, good.
All right, we got a mass arrival here. All significant cars. Oh, I think we saw that one earlier. Something's in the trailer, but what's behind? 550 Spider. All right, the Highway Patrol escorted these cars over from Laguna Seca. Speed bumps do cause problems for some of these. Another speed bump. Porsche derivatives here. They never thought of the speed bump. Not much room in that one. This event is going to be sensational tomorrow. Another RS Spider. And they just keep parading in. Again, a lot of these, all these raced at the track. There's an Abarth. Very carefully. 904. Hey, this is great. And we got one on a trailer here. One of the Coopers. Pooper. Looking good. Oh, and here's this Carrera. Beautiful. Oh, now look at here. Here's one of those, you know, Porsche powered. Speedster. Ah, here's a Abarth. Now here's the scene. The sea of silver. Oh, the ranks are going to get filled here. Another Abarth. A couple of specials here, Porsche specials. This is a Dolphin Porsche. This personifies the quality of this event. Stock 914. Beautiful. A very nice sample. What a scene. I love it.
All right, here we go.
Look at this passenger. He's got no room at all.
I got the motor behind me. I can't. Let's go over here.
908. Fantastic. Like I say, she's got no room. It's incredible.
Looking at that, he's going to come off the ramp.
It's going to come off the ramp.
Going to come off the ramp.
Spectacular car. I think they're going to fire it up and drive it in, which will roll back. Starts right up. It's starting to shine silver. All right, this has got to have a Porsche engine in it, or this is a joke. Volkswagen Jeep. Here Saturday afternoon, and here is an Elva powered Porsche being brought out. Elva with a Porsche engine, I underline that. Now here is a sweet little 550. Beautiful. It's a magnificent car. It is unbelievably perfect. And we'll leave it in this shape for right now, but they're just putting it on the lawn, and the show is going to begin tomorrow. Every car here has a unique significance. This is a Carrera coupe, and a black Speedster came in a little earlier without any trim down the side, and that was a Carrera as well. And this just arrived from Laguna Seca. RS. There's more of them coming from Laguna Seca. You have to pause just for a moment and realize how beautiful this area is, the Quail Lodge. Boy, the importance, the cars that are here are just over the top. I wonder how many Abarths will be here. I'm sure it's going to be a record. Yeah. Porsche GT. Boy, these cars are low. This little Porsche convertible. What a gem. Well, sometimes things happen. There's another Abarth. And we have another RS Spider.
Smile, you're on candid camera.
Hey!
Thanks
God,
for coming,
beautiful
guys.
car.
Hey.
Bright and early Sunday morning, Carmel Valley Quail Lodge, the Porsche Race Car Classic. All the cars are obviously covered, and I do believe they're going to unveil all of them at the same time this morning. And the various display areas are identified by these German names, Zuffenhausenstrasse and Porschestrasse. I have to say, obviously, that the motivation for this event is this very cause right here. This is a charity event. Now, here's an early morning arrival. Sun's just coming up. Well, this is not quite Porsche music. I can't wait. This event is going to be sensational. Some are getting a little extra polish this morning. Ah, this is gorgeous. 1952. Well, yesterday we saw a barn find come in, and here's another one that's been sitting here. I think the cover of the hole in it is kind of nice. Kind of fits the condition of the car underneath. Looks pretty innocent on this side. 1952 aluminum bodied. Actually raced at Torrey Pines years ago in a ladies race and won it. Here's a 550 Spider in blue livery. The blue is because Jean Barra owned it once and raced it at the Bahama Speed Weeks. Race cars always, they don't look too good with tops up, but it's kind of charming, this little Spider. This is from the Porsche Museum. It's a Carrera too. And yesterday we saw one of these Gamoon coupes, and here's another one. Very rare. Back the cover goes on, but 1949. Two very, very unique and unusual Porsches, looking speedster-like, but not. This is the 550 Spider Mexico coupe. Very unique shape. Just as a reminder, here's the other Mexico Porsche coupe that is here. I'm going to run over and do another shot of the other one, and you can see the difference. There is a difference. Now we get the front. Again, here's the RSK display. Some still covered, but you get the idea. Now the 904 is here in quantity, obviously, as well as quality. And this is just a few of them. It's a 1956 550A. Now we're getting sounds. We're showing these in bits and pieces because they're going to be all covered again and have an unveiling later on. And there are a lot of 356Bs here with a unique story, and this one participated in the Peking to Paris event. Like I said, every car has a story. This belonged to the Porsche factory. It was probably the original Carrera. They experimented with it and then it raced South America. Speedsters galore. Again, the story, 200 races in 5 years, originally purchased. Cars getting their finer polish till they're recovered, and then we will see them later. 1952. It's a Type 540. Now the cover's going on, and that's the one that's provided by the show, and they're all sort of a sheen silver with the logo on them. It's going to be very impressive when they're all unveiled. And the logo is very appropriate. 1960 RSK, RS60, and the very rare 718 RS from the Porsche Museum, 8-cylinder, 59 and a 59, and another 1959 RSK Spider. Now we all know these cars are made out of aluminum, but this one shows it off well, very well. This car had an Austrian background, then was originally and sold and brought to the American. Here's the Glockler. 1952. A little jewel. Laguna Seca and lost a wheel. So, concours and everything, these cars are actually used, and even the engine compartment is. Almost a mysterious look to all the cars covered with the same covers. This is going to be very, very dramatic. This is so unique. How abstract is this? Look at the sky at the moment. Silver puffs. They're warming us up with car sounds. 934. You can kind of figure out what's under this shroud. Here's Jerry Seinfeld. Got a few cars here. He's the man. Jerry Seinfeld. Got a lot of Porsches.
Welcome to the Porsche Race Car Classic at Quail Lodge. We're so glad you're here, so glad you're supporting our cause and our event. We do have a few people that we would like you to meet as we get the Classic underway. I want to introduce myself. My name is Alan Martin. I'm on the advisory board for this event, but my day job, so to speak, I work for CBS Television in San Francisco. Down here is these are my old stomping grounds when I worked for CBS in Monterey. And our event producer, Steve, has this way of putting on these events. He asked for help, and you know, I just can't say no. The other one was back in 2004. We're giving you this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness the largest gathering of vintage Porsche race cars ever assembled in one spot. Now, throughout the day, we're going to be calling your attention to the stage area as well as out in the field. Our friend Michael Lynch is going to be roaming around, spending a few minutes interviewing some of the various owners. Steve is going to introduce some special guests who are with us today. And about 2:30 or so, we're going to conduct our drawing for the 2012 Porsche 911 Turbo Cabriolet. Be sure you get your raffle tickets. They are still for sale. And we are grateful to Porsche for making the car available for our raffle. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our event producer, the man who had this wild idea of putting together the full lineage of Porsche race cars from 1950 to 1965, laying them out here on display, and on top of all of that, raising money for lung cancer research. He's a longtime Porsche enthusiast, as many of you know, and as I mentioned, he produced the 2004 Speedster event, more than 400 cars, 1,500 people right here on the Monterey Peninsula. Today is even better. He's co-author of 2 Porsche books. He's working on a major project regarding Porsche 4Cam race and production cars. He is also, very importantly, a lung cancer survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our event producer, Steve Heinrichs.
Thank you all very, very much. We are in, I think, European, but particularly Germanic tradition and trying to be as timely as we can today. So I have 2 minutes before we unveil the cars. Welcome to the Porsche Race Car Classic. Thank you very much for joining me.
Well, those covers are coming off fast. The crowd is huge, and rightfully so. This happens to belong to Jerry Seinfeld, this Porsche Mexico here. Fabulous cars. 1952 540s aluminum sport. 10 Albarth coupes alone here. Yes, 10. Yeah, a lot of spiders too. And lots of 550s. This is the 550 prototype. 1954.
2 years. 2 years. $100,000 more.
Another angle on the hordes. It's just unbelievable to have an experience like this. 1960 Formula One car from the Porsche Museum. 1958 RSK Spider. Interesting little effects in covering the seat. And there are Porsche powered other cars. This is Elva. Porsche. And to prove the point, here is the Porsche engine in the Elva. A very British looking Elva. And going from silver to other colors, the Speedsters. A lot of 356B. A Super 90 with a lot of race history. Staying in the 356 category, there is the perfect one. Here's the one that had the cover on with a hole in it. I don't know what kind of history this had. 1963 Carrera GT. Incredibly rare cars. And they have the characteristic tunnel top on them. This one here is from the Porsche Museum. Now in the early 356 category. 1951, 1952, 1952, and we've seen this one at the races at Laguna Seca. Ran the 1953 Mexican road race. Here's a 56 with work in progress. 1959 Speedsters. Now we're into the Outlaws.
Here today.
1953 pre-A Porsche Coupe. That's another one that was found in just deplorable condition and has a bunch of other parts from other periods of time. Numerous stories behind every car. This 908, one of my favorite race cars. Got the umbrella to match. 908 Spider. Unusual lineup here of cars with Porsche engines. Twin Denzels. Again, these are cars with Porsche engines, different names. Now this is a Bobbsey Porsche, and it just ran away from the crowd yesterday in its particular race. A very, very interesting display of contrary Porsches. And some 914s, and of course there's a 934. And more 356 coupes. And I might add, the smell of wonderful food is coming up. And the cabriolet. This Porsche was in the Tatra Museum for 30 years. This particular Gamoon coupe has seen many a race, as you can see by some of the work around the fenders and things of that sort, a little uneven and a lot. But the coupe itself had that interesting rear fender cover up and the curved side glass and the engine. Coupes. 904s are well represented. That they are. An admiring guess. What a show. Just over the top. You might call this a gathering of spiders. And they gather here as well. Spider with one of those headrests. And you have to lift up to get to the engine. And there it is.
Rector Motor Car Company.
This is a John von Neumann Spider. This is a John Barra Spider. Even got his name on the engine, huh?
We're lucky we got cars.
Here's a Spider all opened up, and notice the headrest comes up first. All right, he's got to close it down here. That's how it goes. Look at that. Then look at that, the headrest. Of course, this top is not going to come down, probably. And the spiders glow in the sunshine. Pretty hard not to continue to look at these lines of cars. Well, I forgot to mention that this fair has food and drink, and early in the morning as well. You know, I think this is to die for. This is candy right next to the wine affair. Oh, this is just unbelievable.
It's real licorice food, and it's really hard to get.
Now watch this, Sarah. Here is a new device now. Keeps your wine aerated, or makes it ready.
We do.
Thank you.
It's just March.com.
And so I have to say thank you for being Porsche true. And I believe you satisfied this car because it is a good car. And I hope that will stay like that. Thank you. Have a good weekend and enjoy this day. Thank you.
Here's Dr. Porsche signing a vest.
Thank you.
Yes. Some wine and some candy. Oh. You don't have to have that to appreciate what you're looking at here. Can you get enough of this? I don't think so. You can't have too much silver, but we'll just add this little color. And then back to silver. There's Michael Lentz and Jerry Seinfeld.
Texas border, and
then talking about
two of these cars finished
this Mexican road race Porsche.
third and fourth in the Carrera after two much.
What attracted me to this car was it being the first four-cam Spider, which I thought was one of the most interesting moments in Porsche racing history, that the Spider mid-engine lightweight concept and the four-cam motor came together and to create this race car that kind of exceeded anyone's expectations. So, and also the particular design of it is very unique, and having this roof and the unusual lines. So I just thought it was, you know, one of my favorite moments.
Now, Jerry, I did have a show business story to relate to you about this car. John von Neumann. No, this is not going to be funny. This is just going to be factual. Historians don't deal in funny things, comedians do. But John von Neumann, who was an owner of this car, also the Porsche Volkswagen distributor for California, raced this car around the state and was a very successful driver. His wife was a Ziegfeld girl, and her first husband was a fellow by the name of Joe Bigelow, who was Jack Benny's lead rider.
Here comes the funny part.
No, you didn't have to supply the punchline, and you just did. Anyway, if you've got a little more to say about
Did
the
they go
car.
into a bar at some point?
No. John has spent some time in bars,
I wanted to point out something. We wanted to put up a picture. What is really interesting to me about what's happening is Right here is this car, 55003, and behind it is a blue America Roadster raced against each other at Pebble Beach in 1953. And here they are, 58 years later, back together in the same part of the country. I didn't know, I owned both of these cars, I didn't realize they had raced against each other. And there are pictures of them racing, and I just think it was a pretty cool thing for the fans of this stuff to see these two cars back together in the same part of the country and owned by the same guy.
Here is the blue car that Jerry Seinfeld referred to as racing at Pebble Beach, and this one ran into the other one.
This is the one that ran into it.
Here is a rear view of Jerry Seinfeld's Mexican road race Porsche. Interesting. Now here's the car opened up a little bit.
You will see
One of the stars of the show, but they all are great. One more shot. So to finish the story, this car was racing at Pebble Beach. I mean, it is so beautiful today and so innocent. Great story. Silver again, but for a good reason.
Camera bag, sorry. And,
We're getting near the food. Well, the food line, or the food, is just delightful, and it's very popular. Very, very beautiful food service. Tarpey's Roadhouse. And how about dessert? So let's have some delicious lunch. Could a car be as luscious as food? I think so. I'm in Porsche heaven. These Carrera Speedsters are priceless, let alone the Carrera Coupes. Now we're getting to the bare essentials of another Carrera, and this Carrera was originally a factory race car. And we saw this arrive last night, but this is a recent acquisition from a barn or some storage. I'm wondering why they're all Carreras. I mean, they've been mistreated all their lives? Are these Porsche Poodles? Are they welcome? I guess not. There's the Porsche Poodle right there. There are various vendors here, and this is a specialty of wood steering wheel restoration. Just talked to Michael Lynch about this event, and he said he was momentous beyond his expectations. Well, here we are again attempting this overall shot. A lot of people are eating, so we're devouring Porsches. Oh, Barth. One all opened up. We'll take a close look.
One of those signed posters I talked about.
Here's an Abarth Porsche opened up.
Porsche books that are.
You know, you look at the Abarth, you know, and you just see the whole look to a lot of his cars. Porsche's early Formula One efforts in the 60s, and their earlier effort in the 60s, 1960. You're going to see a lot of panoramas like this, but the whole idea is to take this whole thing in. I mean, these are just the Spiders alone. This only happens once in a lifetime when you have a collection. Now they're conducting interviews, talking about some of the cars that are specifically here at the exhibit. This car won the Targa Florio. That's the significance of this show. Not only that, but this car, third overall in Le Mans. The hood is an oil cooler, one of their innovations. This is a 550A, which came after the 550.
What was coming in this space frame of small tubes.
And when you got these, you got four others.
Dedicate cars to pure racing. Obviously, the 550.
550A had this inspection panel, different from the 550.
So, Doctor, thank you, sir, and it's very thoughtful of you to share these wonderful cars with the people who have come out to see them. Thank you for the opportunity.
Dr. Julio Palmaz, he's from Argentina, and he brought these cars to the event.
Porsche's foremost mechanics.
550 is well represented.
When one of the, we'd love to have you over at the driver and pilot.
This car was also raced at Le Mans and also at Nürburgring and
Le Mans and Nürburgring. This is the first Allbarth Porsche built.
They leak like a sieve. It also has
Large to allow the steering geometry to work properly with the tires and the bearing. The engine that had to have more louvers punched in it or
They built 20 of them, and 10 of them are here today.
and as you mentioned, some other stayed intact, and it has always been a fairly original car. It was restored approximately 25 years ago, and then we've recently redone through.
We're talking about the
sports cars.
Formula One cars in 1961, and Dan Gurney won with a flat 8.
Porsche had some success with these in Formula One. I think it would have been very interesting, but they made that decision in the early 60s. It probably wasn't worthwhile. And this is a 1960 Formula 2 car, which led to the cars we just talked about.
This is a WRS.
Washington or other places, but this car went through several iterations.
This is the 8-cylinder, which relates to the 8-cylinder Formula One cars.
This car
Single seat, you could race in different races because it adapted to 2 seats.
And talking about the requirements for Formula 2 as opposed to sports car racing, not only did sports car racing require 2 seats.
RSK Spider and the single seat.
I am happy to say I am standing here with Yves Jean, who is a driver who has driven this car in the Le Mans Classic, which is a vintage car race held currently.
This is a factory car that was in Le Mans and won the Monte Carlo Rally. Hey, we got one running. You said goodbye. Can you not go crazy here? You're afraid of spiders. But who's afraid of spiders?
Yeah.
And I was the one that said I'm the weather girl. I took the weather look.
Okay.
So what do you think of the Central Coast weather? Is sunshine okay for you?
It's good, yeah. Thank you.
Can I grab
nice
a real photo with you?
I'm not taking any pictures, just shaking hands because I have so many people here. And
I understand.
I hope you understand.
I do.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your stay.
All right, thank you. You too.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, nice to meet you.
She's a weather girl here in Monterey, I presume. Anyway, that was her introduction to Jerry Seinfeld. Well, this gentleman must have won the car. There's Denise McCluggage to the left.
What if he has to pay export tax and gift tax?
I don't know. He sounds like he's from
Thanks
overseas.
to everybody.
This gentleman won a car, won a Porsche, and he's from Germany. The cars you're about to see over, we've shown them before, but this sign is in front of them. And oh, darn if I know what it means. I think I'm going to find out. I asked an expert. Dry is 3, but these two cars are similar and built very similar times, but this is the first time they've ever been together in 40 years. Now, that's it. That's all I know. Now here's somebody enjoying the show. I guess the dog is too. Hey, we're getting close to that Porsche Poodle. Looks pretty authentic to me. I don't want the show to come to an end. Silver, my favorite color.
He's another one. That's funny. It's not the original. It's not original to this car. He looks similar to that's a middle.
Red? Or a derivation from the Allbarth Spider.
And also the Sugar Scoop Rare Winter.
There are only 2 of these exist.
Other races, and the sister car was only joined later for Le Mans. And the 2 went.
Sebring and Daytona.
Well, that's amazing.
40 years.
Sebring in 61.
I asked the owner one of the cars, and it means 3-sided scraper. Where's the logic? Here is the engine in that, the dry scraper. Well, the show is coming to an end closely, but here is an outlaw speedster. Few modifications, but he races it all the time. We saw the outlaws earlier in another grouping, but this one here is right here in the speedster category. And it's not alone with all the other speedsters. I think you could rightfully say that this will never happen again in California. It'll happen somewhere else, but this is an experience that is just beyond expectations.
Same escort heading
First
back.
car out.